Chris, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Very, very good. I'm good. And yeah, just calling about amateur radio. You've been discussing it a little bit this morning on air, which is
Yep.
good. And I just thought I'd phone up and just share my experience and a little bit about it. And you talk about ham radio and amateur radio. It's the same thing. I guess like the
Right.
radio that you've got at the moment. It's called the radio. It's also called the wireless. I guess it got its name because it had no wires back in many years ago. But it's the same sort of thing. Ham radio and amateur radio are both the same thing, and it's the means of just being able to communicate over the radio between other people. You can be talking to one other person, you can be talking to a group of people, and you've been talking to someone just up the road in the same city or the other end of New Zealand, or in some cases other parts of the world as well.
Is it still a thing? Do people still check and use ham radio? Because I suppose I wonder with novelties worn off as the internet's become more progressive.
There has been a downturn probably from the late 90s, early 2000s, or probably a bit earlier, where the number of licensed amateur radio guys has fallen off and decreased. But in some ways it is becoming a little bit more popular. There's an amateur radio club here in Christchurch that meet in Fendalton, and they've got their own radio rooms there, and they do a weekend course about 3 or 4 times a year, and over that weekend course you learn all about amateur radio. And then to work in or use amateur radio you have to have a license, so at the end of that 2-day course you get the license. It's not very expensive. It's all up, it costs probably about $130, $140 there, and you can purchase amateur radio equipment quite cheaply. A little handheld radio that will get you around the Christchurch, and can also used on computer programs to link in around the world. They cost anything from about $50 to up to $300 or $400, or then you can get the bigger radios that you can put into your home, and that you can talk all over the world on as well.
Because at one stage it was really popular in Christchurch, wasn't it? I think it was like on a Wednesday night, people would get together and just share ideas and talk about anything really relating to the strengths of the radios they were using and all those sorts of things. I found it interesting. I was navel gazing, if you like, or listening in, and thought it was quite fascinating.
They still do. There's the branch in Christchurch is called Branch 05. So there's about probably 50 or 60 branches across New Zealand, and so they're all numbered like Branch 01, Branch 02, and so on. And Branch 05 meet in Isleham in Christchurch or Fendalton, and so every Tuesday night from 7:30 at Branch 05 they have a community get together. So a lot of amateur radios come, some non-amateur radio people come along, and there can be sometimes up to 40 people plus coming to these meetings on a Tuesday night. There'll be one tonight. I haven't got a computer on me at the moment, Chris, but if you typed in Branch 05 or NZART, they rooms that all of those facilities would come up on your computer, and you could read them out, and then people might be able to attend the meeting. But there's a national body of amateur radios called NZART, New Zealand Amateur Radio Transmitters. They get their head office in Wellington, and so they basically lobby the government on behalf of amateur radios in New Zealand. And there are a lot of younger people coming involved in amateur radio on these classes. As I said, Branch 05 do probably 3 or 4 a year. On some of those branches, on some of those meetings, there are always 3 or 4, 5 people that are younger people doing their licenses, and there's always some more middle-aged people like myself that do the courses as well. So it is
I
quite
didn't realise
popular.
there's all these courses and things. It's good fun though, eh? You're still in the game yourself.
I'm still in it myself. I've been on air this morning on amateur radio, and there's so much you can do. I was down in Methven a couple of weeks ago where we were doing moon bounce. So we were talking to a station, an amateur radio guy in Tasmania, and so we were shooting our transmissions up from our antenna to the moon and bouncing it from the moon back down to Tasmania and talking to a guy there. And so it is quite easy to be able to talk the length and breadth of New Zealand, quite easy. So if it's something that you're interested in having a look at, Chris, then your producer's got my number, and you could give us a ring after the show, and
I love it.
Yeah, we could go from there. So your producer's got my number, so feel free to give us a ring if that's something you're interested in looking at there.
That's awesome stuff. Good
Yeah.
to chat with you.
But
Simon.
just before I
Thanks
do
for
go,
calling in.
Chris, if there's anybody that is interested in looking, if you type into the
Yeah.
computer NZART branch, BRANCH 05,
Yeah.
and that will come, that will give all of the details to the branch 05, the amateur radio club here in Christchurch, and they have a meeting, an open meeting, every Tuesday night, and you're more than welcome to come along and have a chat and see some radio guys in operation, working stations, talking all over the world, and it'll be good to show some people about it, and then if they're interested we can go from there and help them to get their license.
That's awesome. Just got an email in from Nick saying he's an avid listener of the club and really enjoys it. Hey, thank you so much for your call, Simon. That's good to know. That
Thank you,
good
Chris.
old amateur radio or ham radio is still in full swing. Give us a call if you're involved.
Awesome. Thanks, Simon.
Thank you so much.